Hi, welcome to Vocab Wednesdays, and I'm Chris with Magoosh. Today we are going to talk about Latin words. In fact, that's actually misleading. Latin phrases. That is, there are phrases in Latin that have snuck into our language, and words such as de rigueur have suddenly been de rigueur to use, at least in certain contexts. So let's start with de rigueur. It means something that's standard or accepted by the etiquette. So, okay, well, let's see. Let's have a good example. 80s rock stars. They used to have long hair. In fact, if you were an 80s rock star and you didn't have long hair, everyone would think you were not a real rock star. So therefore, it was de rigueur in the 80s for rock stars to have long hair. These days, it's de rigueur, I suppose, for rock stars to have a Facebook. Indeed, most of us, I would say, it's de rigueur for us to have a Facebook, whether you're a nomad in Mongolia or a CEO in Silicon Valley, you have a Facebook page. If you're a GRE student, it's de rigueur to carry around a bunch of flashcards. Well, actually, no. That sounds a little bit dated. De rigueur to have a smartphone on which you have a bunch of flashcards. Now, let's talk about a negative Latin phrase. Notice this is 3 words. Persona non grata. It's important to mention here that you cannot just take one of these words and say, oh, persona, which I guess is a word of itself. Or let's take grata. You can't suddenly say, oh, the word grata I'm going to use. No, it's embedded in this phrase. So what does persona non grata mean? Well, it means somebody who is not welcome. Person who people say, they turn around from and say, get out of here, you are not welcome. So persona non grata. Who could be a persona non grata in the media? I was thinking of Lady Gaga, but she's not. She's just more of an iconoclast. I think Kanye West became a persona non grata, for those of you who know, a hip-hop star who got up on stage during these music awards and really insulted another singer, and everyone booed him. And so he was a persona non grata, and may still be, not quite sure. Now, let's have a positive word or phrase. Sui generis. Sui generis means unique. Sui is itself, so in of itself. It's one of a kind. So sui generis. So what could be sui generis? Well, many things. You can go back to a musician's style. If you think that musician really is one of a kind, they are unique in of themselves, you could use the Latin phrase sui generis. And finally, we have probably the most common of the phrases is de facto. Something that is not official, but is in practice. Meaning, like, let's take a ruler of a country. Let's say in Egypt, there was a lot of chaos, many riots, and no one really knew who was running the country. So the military became the de facto ruler, just for the time being. No one elected them. It's not official, but, right now, that's who it is. They are the de facto leadership. I believe they've had elections since, and they no longer have the de facto military in place, though I have to catch up on my economist issues to know for sure. And there we have it. I'm Chris with Magoosh. Again, check us out at gre.magoosh.com, and I'll see you next week.